Are you serious? What the fuck? Hello there, great person. Let's watch some ORB today, episode 3. I believe in heliocentrism. Let's see what will happen, how Raphael can escape the church with the mystery of his father and his obsession with astronomy, and we will just dive right into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, check out, obviously, my ongoing web novel. It's at chapter 22, about, I think. And I do hope you like it. Some psychological fantasy with science woven in. Basically the question, what if a world is not governed by science but emotion? You might like it. But now we will go and see what Raphael has for us today and what the themes will be. Let's have some fun.
Doch ich frag mich, wer wir sind.
So, let's yeah, father will be home. What are you gonna do? Burn it finally? At least he's trying to burn it. So he read it. I do think that's Eisen's, I don't know, Hubert's notes. No, it's his rough notes. Okay, that's good. Okay. Did he burn it in time? Oh god, why would you? If this is still in one piece, Raphael really needs to learn how to burn things. Should ask the Inquisition. I heard they know. I don't know. Also, does that happen? Does something get left over? Like, he's pretty callous about this, if that's the right word. Like, Jesus Christ, mate. I know you're 12 years old, but you are 12 years old. Yeah, is it more accurate, though? Oh, God. Hi, Novak. Man, I really do like Novak. It's also funny that he's got this very well-styled hair that no one would have in these times. Like, Raphael's looks pretty in line with what I would expect, you know, but Novak is like, what the fuck's that? I wonder if Novak has, like, a feeling for these things as well. Sometimes people do have that. Oh, God. Why not? It's beautiful. I would just say, yeah, it's beautiful. Also, you can just give him that. I don't know what will happen, obviously, but I would just give him it. I know it's a token, but I would say sentimentality here, no. Just give it to him. It's just 3 dots. And he won't know astronomy, probably, so he will not know what it means. So just give him that thing. Be like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, God. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing. And now tell him, like, if you want it, you can have it. Yeah. Why would you lie here, though? I mean, something I haven't touched upon yet, which is very interesting, and I love it, though. The universe is the same as the solar system here. They always talk about the universe because that's all they know is the solar system, basically, because they don't really understand that stars are so far away. And I'm even unsure if they know that stars are suns yet, because that would also mean if stars are suns, I don't know if they still link the sun with God, like the Abrahamic God. I don't know that. I mean, that's where he came from, basically, as a mix in part of the sun gods of old and some new ideas. But that's also very interesting. I don't know if I've talked about that yet in these reactions, but from what I understand, and this is just a very rough idea about how it worked, is that gods were the first, like the very primal gods, like in with primal I mean the first god imagery is like trying to understand the world. And I would say it was also a scientific, not a scientific way in the modern sense, but in that you try to extract functions from the world, but you failed because you were not good enough yet. Because, for example, if you create a god of rain, it is the same idea as predicting the weather, but a lot less, let's say, not sophisticated, but less precise, obviously. But it is your first grasp of trying to model the world. So let's say it rains, and then it doesn't, and it rains, and you're like, why does it sometimes rain and sometimes it doesn't? And you don't have science or anything like the science from nowadays. So what do you do? And the psychological thing that happens most often in these cases, which is also something I'm doing some research in, and I hope I will do more research in the future, because it is very interesting and it's something we see in little children, which is again in line with that the way knowledge and science understanding developed through the ages is the same as it develops normally in from child to adult, for example. It's just a cool representation of that, or analogy. So what people did was they ascribed agency to things. For example, you say, well, so the sky has a soul as I do, because it is first a psychological tool to make it understandable, to not make it so unknown, because you know yourself in some capacity, not very well, but you know how you are, and if you assume the sky is like you, perhaps even grander, and perhaps even less understandable than you in some sense as well, which is like this godly thing as well, you mix that together, you put that onto the sky, and then you are like, yeah, but I mean, the sky is obviously not a person. I'm a person. I know how I look like. So you project the image of a man or a woman into the sky that brings the rain, and you have got a rain god. And then you try to appease that rain god by sacrificing, and you try stuff out that works to influence the weather, so to speak, even though it wouldn't. But it's your first try to grasp how the weather works. Nowadays we've got projections. We also are wrong sometimes. I mean, sacrificing a cow or something worse is obviously a lot wronger than predicting the weather incorrectly, because you don't know all the currents and stuff, because it's chaotic. Yeah, and just basically the same mechanism. And this, it is called an animism, if you project personality and if you personify and interact with things that are unalive. And we even do it in science nowadays. We say, for example, let's take an electron, which is a particle. You probably know that, but just want to make sure. So an electron is a particle, and you're like, so the electron now wants to wants to go away from the protons, because they are different charge, and you say it wants to go away from it. It's the same idea, exactly the same idea as you have when you create the first gods, when you ascribe agency to rain clouds. It's the exact same thing, just with the difference that nowadays you would know that it's just a metaphor, but they did not. And I do think that's the big distinction. You have to distinguish between things being metaphors and not, and like you can overinterpret, like you can take things too literal, and you have to then see if the metaphors you use are good enough. And I would say a person in the sky controlling the weather is the bad metaphor, because you can't interact with it, you can't predict things reliably, and you can't work with it. But if you refine that model more and more, you might get away from that, and you might go into more modern models like physics. And the funny thing as well is that like the first step where they try to do that is, for me, it is mixing gods together, which is basically the step from polytheism to monotheism, so having just one god. So if you say there's a rain god, there's a sun god, and the sun god, as the sun was the most important thing, I guess, because it brought day and night and light and made things grow and brought heat. Perhaps they knew that, I don't know. So you would say that's the most important one. It's also an idea of orientation, of goals, because it's always there, like a goal is always there. Perhaps like that is, though perhaps a bit too abstract for those times, I'm unsure. And then you like basically munch all the godly things together into this one idea. So you personify the world. And I would say the more religious interpretations of God are personifications of the world, animisms of the world, and of the social world, and that like you moved away from nature to society in trying to conceptualize and animize. I hope animize is now a term you understand. You animize society, and that's what the monotheistic God is, like the archetypical idea of society. And that is why I love that the sun is a god, so to speak, and it is still a sign of God, because I think on the third day or something, at least in Christianity, he made is the sun and the moon, I really do like these ideas, and I do think we have to understand that the mechanisms behind creating models in science are exactly the same mechanisms that probably led to the creation of gods and the idea of gods. So if you do gods of nature and not of society, for example, I would say god of alcohol is a god of society, and a god of rain is a god of nature, a god of fire is also a god of nature. I know they overlap and they are not completely distinguishable all the time, and I would perhaps even both are very, very close, because society and nature are pretty close in human understanding and conceptualization. So anyway, that's why I really like this. And I do think that's often not understood or known about religion and science. And science being a natural progression in a way when you try to describe nature. Like the nature gods, I would say, from older religions are the same thing as science, just a lot less reliable, like almost unreliable, I would say. But they did have the idea that there could be patterns in the world, and that's the important stuff. So anyway.
一応確認だけするが、
Yes?
ないと神に誓えるか?
I mean, yeah, I mean, why would he not do that? I like Nowak, he's not taking his shit though, I think.
よくどうも。
では。
I like that he always tries to just go away. Yeah, see?
急に出てくるなよ。
That's the thing, man. You played that pretty well. Like, I would have, like, lying is hard. Lying is really hard. If you're not a psychopath. If you're a psychopath, you can just lie, but that's like 10% of the people or something. So, or 5. I forgot the numbers. Like every anime reaction this topic comes up of psychopaths. Every time I estimate a number and percentage, and every time I forgot to look it up and confirm it. So I'm sorry, I again didn't look up what percentage of people are psychopaths. But anyway, so like normally lying is hard. Like you twitch, like you've got asymmetries in the face, you sweat, you start to look at different directions and stuff. Like there are signs when you lie. It's just that most of the people cannot read them, and sometimes it's impossible to read them, but they are there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because they're there, you don't have to see them. And even people do claim that are trained on it often don't see them. It's just like everyone has their own signs as well. But yeah, I like that he's rattled. That's very good. They also did that a lot. Like they did it really, really well with not showing his internal dialogue while he was with Novak. So you're fucked here. Let's see what you make with this or from this. Why would you not be? I would have stayed there to watch everything burn. The question I do also have is, does this happen? If you burn something, wouldn't everything just catch fire? And I mean, if you have something and put it over a candle, I know it sometimes goes out. I've tried that, like, because when I was younger and we did some magic scrolls that we created from parchments, like we always lit them on fire on the edges to make them look magical. Like it was my magic playtime, so to speak, to like, and we try to make documents look like these, so I know they sometimes go out, but if it's a fire where there's like logs burning, I don't know if this will work.
計算が修正されてる。
Yeah, obviously, I mean, we know that.
自然消化しやすい。肺になるまで見ておけ。
Thanks, mate, that's why you're the adult. I love that.
父さんのものですか？
I love that, man.
何も知らん。
Wow, that's so awesome. His face in shadow. It's like, I don't know anything. So you burn it. I mean, we already knew he was an astronomer. We knew that from last episode, but that's cool. I like that he doesn't understand it fully because he's also a bit of a child. I like
この
that.
ところ派手に動きすぎたな。
Yeah, no shit, mate.
くて少し行き詰まってたところ。
Yeah.
大学が落ち着いてきたら研究を。
I would advise that as well. I would be like, play along like 3 years. Like you're 12. Like if you're 15, you can still do astronomy like for like 10 years until you die. I know that's a myth. I know. Some people have corrected me on that when I thought it was the truth. Like the life expectancy is either all the newborns die or you get pretty old, I think, on average. So on average, you would live 40, 50, 60. Like it's just the average is skewed because of the many newborn deaths, which is also horrid. I love Nowak as a character. Such an interesting force. What are you going to do now? What is this? Liemia. Liemia. Why is it Liemia? It's not Latin. I know Latin. That's not Latin. Also, you know what I would probably have been doing? I would go to Nowak again and be like, did you need my confession? I can give you that. Like, make sure that he, you know, that might make him more suspicious, but I do think what he just did made him more suspicious. I don't know.
外出中か。
Yeah, that's a good question. Did you burn the last page? I hope you did. So the letter is gone. Who is the letter to then? Or did he place it somewhere else?
あの計算を修正するなど。
I like that this drive for science and knowledge is something that sparks up even in the most pious, devout people. You could also argue that, and I know I might be completely wrong, but from the like 5 scenes we had with this father of his, I would argue he is potentially Raphael choosing not to pursue, choosing to always hide it. Basically, the premise we have currently is like Raphael wants to hide it and stuff and do it on the side. Perhaps I think that's what he did all his life, and he managed it. So it's possible potentially. I like that as something we know. So we know basically from this storytelling wise that if plot stuff doesn't happen and Raphael would like be more perhaps careful, he could just do it like this, but he would probably not succeed in what he wants, obviously. But you know, so that's nice that we do know this avenue exists in this world, and I like that he wanted to correct it because it's like he wanted to help his son. Like he wanted to truly help him, not pretend help him. See, he pretend helped him all his life potentially, and I'm excluding obviously like feeding him and stuff, but like this like teaching him theology and stuff. He wanted to make sure that he has a place in society that fits him somehow, and that where he's not in the gutter anymore. I like that, but now he understands that he might like he needs the truth to get out, and that is a very powerful drive.
これがバレたら。
Yeah. Is that Novak? Yeah, it's Novak.
どうも。
I like how his face is like, Jesus fucking Christ, mate. I do have to do this, right?
どうも。
Domo. We just said that a monster.
の事後処理でちょっと書類に一筆を。
Yeah, why did you free Hubert?
いやー大変でしたね。
No.
あなたの教え子だったんでしょ？
Oh, yeah, I think we knew that.
複雑ですよね。
But Hubert looked so much older. Interesting.
いえ。
You see?
異端は異端です。
See, that's why he's sweating. He's sweating here. He's reacting like a normal person would, and Raphael's like lying. It's funny.
な思いはありません。
And I like that he crumps his fist because he's lying. That's like what I said, like this asymmetry, these little tells.
あなたに異端の前科があって。
Oh, he does. Interesting, yeah.
フベルトとは
I like also that heliocentrism is a thing. Like it's a counter belief system, and that's politically and belief wise very dangerous for the church, obviously.
勝手にあなたの過去の研究を見たんでし
Are you sure, mate?
たり、前科の印象を消そうと
I love that he's shaking. That's awesome, man.
骨まで悪魔が取り付いちまってる。
I like that though. You know, it's so frick because from my understanding, and this is again a very subjective personal interpretation, nothing like set in stone or anything, it's just my thoughts on this. The devil for me is just the most evil thing you can imagine, conceptualize, and you try to personify it, do good that I talked about this today. So you try to put the concept of evil into something graspable, like a human shape, the same way you did God. So that is the devil. And I'm not talking about Lucifer, the fallen angel here, which is a bit more complicated, but really the devil, like pure evil incarnate. And that means exactly that. Like you try, like it's a social, like basically the devil is in a way a social deity that is lesser deity than like the more like the god of judgment or something. And the devil is basically exactly that as well. Like the psychological mechanism of trying to understand evil and first be like, this is a thing, looks like a human, I can interact with it, but it's evil. So I know evil is in people, which is very important to understand that it sometimes is. And second, I can start to interact with and explore it. Because the thing is as well, like if you go outside and there are pebbles and you like try to feel them out, like you take them up and you look at them, like you can learn about pebbles, what they do. But we learn mostly through interactions that are social and not with the nature per se, because our world has become so social, you know, so this is also one of the ideas behind it. Yeah.
異端者本人のため
Oh yeah, and what I wanted to say, it wasn't even what I wanted to say. I don't even know why I ramble so much today. But so what I also wanted to say is it's so funny that what the church does, I would argue is evil. Like burning people obviously is evil for having their own opinions that did not hurt people yet, you know, and there are things about that to be said and stuff, but I do think burning someone just because they want to know the truth is evil. I do think that's evil because you facilitate corruption of your society with a lie. So the church that preaches truth lies. You know, it's like such a perversion of it, and it is a sign of a corrupt system in general that if you use these methods like lying and authoritarianism and stuff, you're at the end of your rope, you know? And change is imminent sometimes.
燃やすんでしょう
Oh, they're burning them again. I mean, the burning stuff is a lot more harrowing with what they really... Like some people have commented on that, but, you know, the burning stuff, I do think it's a symbolism of cleansing their souls with the fire of the Lord. And the fire is also the first god we did have, I would assume. I think what was the first thing that God did, at least in the Bible, and I have to go from a Christian standpoint in that I was taught those ideas, so those are the ones I know best. So for your other religions that might be out there, I don't know it. It might be equivalent, and you would have to tell me, and I would be interested in that. But I do think the first thing God does is part day from night, which is basically the same idea as having the fire brought. Let me actually look it up. See, good that I looked it up, as it's even closer to what I was about to say. At least in the version I just read, and granted it was the first Google result, which was generated by an AI, which might be shit, and you would have to confirm it yourself. But basically what it did say is that, yes, I'm a lazy shit here. I'm so sorry. So someone, I'm just, you know, I hand on my heart, I just do it so you can correct me that I was wrong. So, you know, have more comments to make. But jokes aside, no. So the first thing is he parted the light from the dark. And I don't know if that's equivalent of day and night, but I do think that is exactly what it is. It is the first thing God does is creating light, which is finding the fire, which is developing civilization and consciousness. in one interpretation, at least in my interpretation, as I think I said that before, that creation myth, at least in the Bible, is the myth of consciousness developing and not the world developing. So it is how the world developed through our eyes and how we started to understand it. And I think then it would be reasonable to be like, the first thing God did was God said there was light, and then there was light. Something like that is exactly that. Understanding that light is the central thing you need, like fire is the central thing you need, and the understanding of that there is day and night, that there is a difference. It is the being able to tell that there's a difference in the world and able to conceptualize it is exactly that. That's the first thing you do, I would argue, when you get conscious and develop consciousness. So that's why I do like this interpretation. And it is a wild one, I know. It's very unconventional, I would say. I've not heard it before. But that is my idea as a more, like, as both a psychologist and a like not a clinical psychologist, like I do education psychology, but I know psychology, and as a quantum physicist, which is my main area, obviously. So like that is how I understand these creational myths. That's why I love them so much as well. Like I'm a big fan. I do think the most fun thing about a story is the creation myth when you read it in the book, like a fantasy world. And in my story as well, it is, and I know it's a shameless self-plug again, and it is a spoiler bit as well, but the creation myth, in at least one of the realms I write, is that in the beginning there was nothing, there was dullness, there was every day, like there was just being, without understanding what it means. And then there came the fire, and the fires were brought from another realm, and through these fires people developed their passions and understand that there were sparks and there was society, they could dance, and they started celebrating themselves in this version of the afterlife I'm writing. And it's like basically a second awakening. So I also used it in my story. I think I used it in an homage to all the other creation myths I know. And as I said, I do think creation myths are the most fun thing to think about in stories when they're like these made-up worlds, because they all share on a meta level same core elements and ideas if you take a step back and if you try to consolidate them. And I really love that. And that's coming back to that's exactly where I do think this is so interesting as well. It is day and night. The first thing God does is create the fire, basically, or the idea of fire, of light, of warmth. And the idea that fire is something you can use as well, perhaps. And that is why that is in line with like it. That is why the sun god is still in the Abrahamic God, because that's the first thing he does. He creates day and night. He doesn't create the sun and the stars, because the sun and the stars are ideas that are more complex, and you need more understanding and a more refined consciousness to grasp them. But being dark and light, that is something you can understand. And that is something you conceptualize, and that is something the first organisms as well conceptualize on a subconscious level or subliminal level, or whatever you say these things have. Like there is a snail, it's called a flusia. It's one of the snails that did research on brains on, and that snail reacts to light and darkness. It's the main drive it has for motor functions, and motor functions are what made the brain and higher cognitive functions develop, at least by some hypotheses, and I do think they are quite reasonable, though obviously if you disagree and have others, I would be interested. So that is why I do think it's really interesting that this day and night, this light and dark idea is so central to who we are as conscious beings. And that's why I think in creation myths, that's also something, or it's also like from the chaos there came order. That's also the distinction of two things. And I said last time, I think, was it in this or in Monster? Or was it in Evangelion? I don't know where, but I do sometimes bring this up, that just knowing that there are two things and not one, like just from the idea that there is distinction in the world, you can derive mathematically quantum physics. You first go to mathematical logic by being like A unequal B, and you take that and you do some basic logical operations that are intuitive, I would argue. You can derive the Pauling matrices, which is the basic foundational block of quantum physics. You can derive quaternions, and you can start deriving quantum field theory just from that idea if you just use mathematics. So in a way, our understanding of quantum physics can be created from day and light, metaphorically as well. I don't know if that was an interesting tangent to you. It was probably too long, but that is like, also read my book. It's ongoing web novel. All of these themes are in there. I hope you give it some love and like it and push it with comments because no one reads it currently. So I'm hoping someone will.
顎が割れるまで歯を食いしばってるや
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
つ。
What would be worse though?
そんな肉体的苦痛
Yeah, and so burning them is obviously perverse in that it tries to make them pure, but the idea of God is the truth. So by making them like they're trying to purifying them for being like God, and that is so perverse. That's why I hate burning as a symbolism as well from the church. It's one of the nastiest things I know. What would you do? Would you just scream? I would probably just scream. I wouldn't give a fuck anymore when I burn to death. I don't know. I hope I never do.
あなたならその意味が
I like that he's so calm about it as well. He's just telling him this. And he knows. Yeah, turn to ash.
審判で復活する体がなくなる。
Oh, Judgment Day, yeah. That as well, they exclude them from the afterlife here with those beliefs because they cast them into hell, I would assume.
のか学者でも意見が分かれるところです。
Yeah, academics. Let's go.
ズバリ無になる。
Ooh, nothingness.
全部無だ。
That is an idea. That is, oh man, this enemy is gonna be my longest reaction series, I guess. This is like so genius. So nothingness is obviously the thing that comes before day and night. That's the primal chaos. That is the world where God was not. And in God, I mean consciousness in this case, if you go by my ideas. It is also the central theme of my book, because I do think that is as well. Because I do think this is correct in a way. You return to nothingness in the end. Because the world returns to nothingness. But I do think nothingness is not terrible. It is terrible and beautiful. It is terrible because everything returns to nothingness, but it's beautiful because everything comes from nothingness. And you might then argue that it's a circle like some more Eastern religions. I do think, if I'm wrong, correct me, as always, do believe it's like a cycle of rebirth and death with losing your memories. That's also what I do in my book. I mean, it's playing in the afterlife, and the idea is that everyone, when they die, return to nothingness, and then they emerge from it back into this dream world that I create where the story takes place. Like, it's called the dream, and everyone knows it's called the dream, and they are still there, but they don't remember their past lives. So they've faded, like the memories faded into nothingness, but some things resurface again from this nothingness within them. And the nothingness is the most important theme in that book series as well, or the web novel, because it also parts the dream realms, like between dream realms. There is exactly this nothingness he's talking about. And I do love this theme so much. It's one of my favorite themes. It is also basically potential. It's in quantum physics as well. There's no vacuum in quantum physics anymore. Like, where you would say nothingness is, there is potential for everything because there are quantum fluctuations, and there is vacuum space where there are quantum states still existing, like 0-point energies, and there's always potential in the nothingness. And I just love that. It's such a profound idea. And I know they didn't know any of this when they wrote these old texts, but it's funny that it's an idea that carried over so long. So, and about this turning into nothingness, I'm really afraid of that. My best friend wasn't. I think he said that. He died on New Year's Eve this year. It was terrible, like losing your best friend to a very terrible disease. But he like, I saw him try to grapple with knowing that he would die, and he did say, "It's just nothingness. I'm not afraid." I couldn't understand that. I did have a near-death experience once, and I wasn't afraid either. Like, there was a moment where I thought I would die, and I was like, okay, that's it, fine. Like, there was no terror. It was just okay. And nowadays I'm terrified of it, but in that situation, I wasn't. I'm also only terrified, not of pain or anything, I'm terrified of losing my memories and the connection I made with the people. Because if I lose my memories, that word dies in my mind. You know what I mean, so...
あんたの子供を異端研究し
I love how he does that, man. Why would you accuse him of that?
しかしあんな子供がいたん
Why would you know that? I think he's just probing him here. Like, it's a reasonable guess. I would say it's a reasonable guess from the fucking necklace. The dumb idiot. That's so clever. Like, it is the difference between clever and wise. Like, Raphael is clever, but he's not wise. He's really like, I don't know what is it dumb? Is dumb the unwise? Let's just say unwise. Like, Raphael is really extremely unwise and has no experience in the world, and I love how they do that. A character that's very intelligent, which is what we see in his arguing, but he's so naive and young. I love it. I love that he doesn't admit it. Yeah, do you have proof?
いえ、今はまだ。
Oh, awesome.
ただね、ポトツキさん。
Yeah, oh, Potoki is his name, okay.
密告しなかった場合。
Yeah. It would be, but it is not. So what?
密告した方がいいですよ。
Also interesting parallel to Hubert, because he's had a very good life. It was probably that him and Hubert diverted. Like, Hubert had this terrible life in a prison or whatever he was in, and he had a good life. So he did have everything. So he has got more reason to tell on Raphael. In a way, I would argue, but he won't do it, I feel.
しかもあの子は初犯。
That as well, though. But he can't go to university then, I guess.
密告した方がみんな傷つか
Man, I love the voice actor of Novak. And one of my favorite voice actors in Japan. I love all his
い
work.
や、お邪魔しました。
So awesome, man.
ご飯は死なずに済むんです
Man, don't fall for it.
もち
I
ろん。
mean, if that's the rule and he's a boy, but he won't go to university. I also like that it wasn't set in stone. He just told him. He basically was like, I know what's happening. If you do this, this happens. If you do this, this happens. I don't know if he's lying. I don't have a grasp on Novak yet enough to see if he would lie here. Like, if he would do everything to get the people into his hands. He might be one of those characters. I'm not sure yet. There are hints towards it. But, you know, so... But I like that he puts him under pressure. Are they gonna talk? That's awesome. What's he gonna tell him? Raphael might actually turn himself in.
計算修正
I love it, man. It's so sad. Will he save his father here?
地動説は証明できると思う
That's so awesome, man. That's so cool. He's got a good chance, though. He's so young. That's why he has got a good chance. That's a very good statement, but I do think it's a truthful statement from him. And the good thing is as well, so what happens if you're intelligent from a psychological perspective? You just are quicker in everything, thinking, reacting, everything. Very rough, like very rough description of it. A lot more nuanced to it. I'm just really dumbing it down. Is it what you say? Like reducing it to very, do you know what I mean? Rough ideas. So, but it's basically you're quicker, you can abstract better, and you're more reactive. So if he's a child and starts now, he has like what he would do in 30 years, other people would do in 100 years or in 2,000 years. And that's also a metaphor here. Yeah, but you understand. So it's not that stupid to bet on this child, actually. It's a lot of to put on the child morally, but it's like functionally.
すまない今日はもう寝
Will Raphael turn himself in? I do think he will.
ることは明日話そう
I do think he will turn himself in. Because he believes in him. I do not feel that Podoki or whatever his name is, yeah. And you fucking shit still have that? Oh god. I think, or is that the little combustive too? I don't know. Oh good fucking god. He did turn him in?
すまない
Or did he turn himself? I'm unsure.
さて、手続き。
Oh really? He did turn him in. Interesting.
これはまだ試作品なんだけど。
I would not have thought this pair of anguish. As yeah.
口が開く。
I've seen one of those in a museum. That's like they're nasty.
中で4回転もすれば頬は下げて。
Yeah, you will rip open your jaw.
この世にはいかに効率。
I don't understand why he's torturing him here. Or it might be that he came for his father and he wants to get out of him that his father's guilty. I'm unsure because we don't like. I'm just hoping that he didn't turn him in because I like the father. So I'm still in denial. I might turn though very soon.
誰も痛みからはの
That is true.
2つだけ回避法が
And those are comply or die?
貸してその手で全て燃やせ
Interesting.
俺だって子供を虐待するし
It's so interesting that he says it because he does have children, or he lied about that. He's such a... Like, he's just got the goal of getting knowledge out of people.
これ君のだろ
Ooh, what's that?
これはまだ有効だ
Ooh,
人生をやり直せる
okay. Why not do it?
何を諦めるかだ
That is true, though. So, first of all, that's really frick that his father did do it, because he did say he could prove it. So perhaps it is to get him off the... I'm so in denial, I'm sorry. You must be really mad at me. But I would say, first, why would you, like, what would the plan be to rat him out here? To now get him off the radar, but now he's on the radar. The reasoning might be get him off the radar, because otherwise they would have followed him and, you know, I don't know.
会を選べるはずだ
Let's see.
あれ変わった君には会おう
That's so fucked, man. That's very interesting. I wouldn't have thought this. This is so fucked.
今までなんとかなってきた。
That's true. Such an interesting situation. The obvious thing is recanting. Yeah.
仲間がいなくても積んでない。
Yeah.
積んでない。
But it's a lie. Love it.
なぜ僕はこんなことをしてるんだ。
I love that for the first time he tries to grapple with something.
違う説に出会わな
Not
きゃ
tries, like he tries to understand himself, really understand himself.
周囲にはもてはやされて、
But did you like that even?
将来を嘱望されて、
I don't think he ever wanted to be celebrated by people. He just wanted to be comfortable. I get that.
ずっとちょろいはずで。
Funny, it's perhaps because I watched Evangelion just now, which was for me one of the ideas of growing up, was this theme there. And this is also growing up. Life's not easy anymore. You're not in your garden anymore, which is also a biblical thing. For example, Garden of Eden. Or I do think Buddha in the shielded city where he grew up, like this shielded thing where you are around, and when you grow up, you have to get out of it. And the world isn't comfortable and fair anymore and easy. It starts to be the world. So in a way, this is also him growing up. I really do like that. I won't go into tirades of growing up anymore because I did that for like 50 hours in Evangelion, but... 30. Oh, there's light. The moon and the stars.
僕が天文を続けるのは合理。
Yeah.
空はずっと遠くにある。
It depends what is your objective. Rationality is also depending on your objective. You can be rational, but you have to be, like, if you have it on a moral or life guiding, in a moral or life guiding manner, rationality is towards your goal. Rationality is moving towards your goal. Which is like, if you are like, my goal is to live comfortable, the rational things would not have been the ones he did. But if your goal is to understand the world better, the rational thing would have been the things he did. So that's interesting that, like, rationality is not as easy as you might think. And it's not, like, objective as well.
あの頃よりはっきりと。
I never tried to define rationality either, so...
美しく
Because this, again, I did say that, but the stars are a symbol for aims and goals and understanding your own purpose in life, in that you understand what you want. That's the stars as well. Also why the fire and the sun are these symbols as well. Your goals. That's why they are so revered in cultures as well, in part, I guess, psychologically speaking. So he's gonna... Yeah.
小説を研究していたことを認めますか
That's so interesting. Why would his father do that? I don't get his father.
公開公認の学説と異なることを
Also doctrine, not knowledge.
文書を要求しています。
If he now says no, what will the people do? Because on average, people are not cruel. They are cruel if they think they are morally superior. They turn cruel pretty quickly. But normally, and in masses, people do turn cruel. One of the reasons why the certain people in my home country did turn very cruel. One of the reasons it was like the madness of the masses personified in a person. And I did talk about that a lot in other reactions, so I won't go there now because it's always already 50 minutes recording already. But I would say that people would be shocked that the child, like, because the child is also in stories a lot of this, the symbol of what are we even doing here? Sometimes it's not like an Attack on Titan, which is very well done there, but
許可証を受け取りますか?
Interesting. He's not gonna do it. Yeah.
言葉では何とでも言える。
Are you gonna give up comfortable life or truth? That's such a good question. I like that they're all relieved. I do think they don't want him to suffer. I do think Novak would make him suffer. His father doesn't. I don't know why his father did it. I think why his father wanted him to be like him, to have the life he had, and to make sure that nothing's in the way. Because who knows what would have happened. Because I really like the father, even though he did something really shitty. I do think he must have thought he was right, and he is an astronomer. So these are the two things that don't work with him ratting him out. So I can only assume what his thought process was. This is stressful. If they get him now, at least he knows he's got a pat on the fingers. He will stop like I stopped. And he sees himself in his son, and he hopes that his son will do the same thing he did, being, if you are an asshole, a coward, which is, I do think it's an asshole-ish thing to say, because he would have probably died otherwise. That's not, like, it wouldn't be fair to call him an coward, really. Like, but I just want you know what I mean, I hope. So.
宣言します。
That's so awesome. That's so fucking awesome. It just cuts away. We don't see the reactions. That's so mean. Oh, fuck, man. He's gonna get tortured to shit now. Love that he put it away. What are they gonna do now?
囚人でもこんなにいいものが飲める。
It's weird. These two, man, I would take him into, like, I wouldn't torture him. I would take him somewhere else where he can study so we know his stuff, if I was the judge and not stupid. Novak, though, what will he do? Will he torture a child? He might. This is more a character mode. Like, he now had his character mode, which was awesome. He chose truth over comfort, which is the brave thing. Like, this is truly brave what he did here, and it was an awesome character moment. Now he will have his character moment in that we will learn who he is. I like that. Yeah, let's see.
一緒に飲みませんか?
I love that, man. Oh, man, Novak. This will be a Novak scene. That's interesting. Will Novak change, perhaps, even? It's so interesting.
開かない方が地動説のためになると。
Interesting.
あのありかを吐くさ。
Told us everything. What does he even want to know? What heliocentrism is? Like, what would he get from torture? He knows nothing. Like, contacts, he doesn't know them. Like, he's just a child believing in something.
あなた方が相手にしてるのは僕じゃ
Yeah,
ない。
it's an idea. And the idea lives in people.
想像力であり、好奇心であり。
Yeah, it's the spark of man. Yeah, that's what I've been talking about for 50 minutes now, but very brilliantly done, yeah. Very.
宿主さえ制御不能だ。
This is a very pro-truth. Obviously, I know I'm saying obvious stuff here, but the show until this point has been an extremely well written piece of telling you what, like a strong manning truth, and being like, sometimes you have to speak the truth even if your society might be against it or not ready or hate you for it. But if you know it's the truth, speak it. If you don't know if it's the truth, like, that can be, like, that's the problem. Sometimes you don't know what the truth is and you think you do, and then you might do some terrible stuff, I feel. So, but yeah, so he's like, the truth will be there and you will not fight the truth, because the church here is, I do think religions start with truths because they also try to find the truths. But when the institutions that represent the religion go corrupt and dark, they will start to lie, which they do here, and they will use lies to facilitate their own personal motivations and not the greater good, so to speak, and then they fall. And that's why the truth will prevail in most of these situations, but only after a fall.
一組織が手なずけられるほど
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't, like, the truth is just the truth.
君の未来にとって正解だと思うの。
No, not for his, but for humanity's.
でも不正解は無意味を意味しません
Yeah. That's so awesome.
効果は知ってますか
Yes. Is he tripping?
まあ簡単に言うと苦しまずに死ねる
Oh, is he trying to end himself here?
さっきそれをコップに入れました
Holy shit. What the fuck? Oh, he drank it. Oh, he drank it. Oh, oh. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's... Wow. What the fuck? That is... He's like, fuck you and your shitty world. Man, I love that he thought he also thinks evil of people because he thought he was poisoned, which, yes, he could have probably gone out here and then, like, went 5 meters and get shot or whatever they do here, or burned. But he's like, no, I will not harm you. You have your right to your idea in a way as well, or you have your right to find the truth on your own. But I have found the truth, and that is fine. I'm content now. It's awesome, man. Holy shit, man.
あ
まあじゃないだろ。
That's so awesome.
その選択は教えに反し
So, I mean, yeah, if he's seppukus, he will not go to heaven. I think they had that in these times. So, maybe even nowadays.
恐ろしい運命が待ってるぞ。
死のさ
Yeah, no one does. If you want to check out my version of the afterlife, read my web novel.
ソクラテス曰く
Yeah,
曰く我々のあるところに死
yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. Seneca's will.
をすれば十分に長い僕はそのすべてに賛成です
Ooh. Yeah, that's no. I mean that's true. The last quote was what we read at my friend's funeral because he said that. That's what he said. Because he did study Latin and he read about death a lot, and that was his quote. It's like, man. Like, if you die too young, whether be it force of something or not, but it was the best man I knew, you know, like a very pure-hearted, really kind, intelligent person, and he just got shit on by the world. But he always said that. Seneca was a clever man, I guess. Oh, God.
そんなの2000年近くも前の愚か
Heathens, yeah.
も救いもない。そんな言葉が何になる。
The thing is also that if you are like, they have a God and salvation, you don't have to think for yourself anymore. And the thing is, if you take, for example, the Bible, there are contradictions in it, and that's the point. There are, like, you don't have the absolute answer to everything that is one thing. Like, if you, like, something that would come close to the absolute answer of everything would be contradictions, because not every situation needs the same answer, you know, that's why I love that. That's why I love that. Man, fuck you for using that quote.
感動できる
Yeah, inspiration.
フベルトさんは死んで消え、
Yeah,
あの人のくれた感動は今も消えない。
that's the thing, man.
長さより大切なものだと思う。
Wow, yeah. Yeah. That is so true, man. I always thought about this. I mean, always. I thought about this so much for the past half year. The most important thing is the memories we keep of the people that die. My friend inspired me to write my book. That on Attack on Titan, I know, but perhaps sometimes I sometimes feel I started writing it down because I wanted to imagine him in an afterlife where he's happy. Because he was very happy in this life already. It's really, really, you know, you can be happy here. I just hope after that, because I do think some people really deserve to be happy and they didn't have the time. And perhaps for them, as Seneca says, it's God, fuck, I'm such a mess now. If we go after Seneca, perhaps that was enough for them, but it's not enough for me. You know, I don't want people who are so brilliant and nice and kind to only have short lifespans, like shorter lifespans than others that perhaps are spiteful. Like, I don't wish death on anyone. I just always, when someone dies too young that I think deserved the longest life I can imagine, it's always such a sting in my heart, especially now. So I always like to think of what could the afterlife be? What would be not dull, but beautiful, and what does it mean? I really love this episode so much, man. The spark of... anything, mate. I love that, man. He's clouding on him so hard. Like a 12-year-old is clouding on Noah so hard, and he knows. That's why he reacts like this. I don't think, like, he's spouting this religious answer nonsense that you spout when you're possessed by these thoughts.
でも
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck you say.
これか。
I love that they show the starry sky. What the fuck, man?
地。
Earth. Did he fucking die? I will assume he died. Like, was that a fake out? If that wasn't a fake out, fuck off. If that was a fake out, whatever. What the fuck, man? That was so awesome. Like, I can't believe that happened. Like, this is what you do, Evangelion, with Cesaro. Fuck off. I don't know. Good fucking God, man. I didn't think this would make me relive some of the stuff I didn't want to deal with for the last half year. Okay, so Raphael, like, I do think he died. Raphael, one of the top 1,000 characters ever written. Like, to have the balls to make a child into that and them killing the, like, the thing is them ending the child is also the biggest symbolism, killing their future. Like, the church went so far as to kill their future. A spark of ingenuity. Yeah, if you like this idea of the spark of passion and spark of passion and ingenuity and all of that and hope, you can shout out my web novel. All of these themes are in there as well. I know it's a fucking stupid self-plug, but it's just like these themes are so important. I love them so much. I don't even know what just happened. And I also like that they really used the writing well. So his father killed him here without knowing, because his father was the coward, and an understandable coward. As I said, I just don't know another word. I just will use coward. So, shit, man. That is absurd. I can't believe he died. I still don't think he died, but I know he died, and I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I'm sorry. I just see the next episode's descriptions. The duelist OC wants death. Whatever. I don't. You know. I mean, that symbolism. I hope Novak comes back, because Novak is the one who heard the stuff from him, and Novak is probably the one who brought his necklace somewhere safe. I cannot imagine another person. Oh, the necklace was given to the father, but the necklace is heretic, so it has to have been Novak. I hope Novak kinda is the main character now. I don't know what happens. Perhaps Raphael was saved and some bullshit happened, which is fine. I don't care. I would just now linger in the idea that he did die, and for me that would be exactly perfect. So I'm a bit hesitant to watch on because I'm afraid he's not dead. So, I don't know. I will just hope he's dead, because that was one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in the show. That was brilliant, beautiful, and it encapsulated everything about corrupt systems that there is. I'm so sorry for rambling. I hope you liked the reaction. If you disagreed with stuff, as always, put it in the comments, but I have to recollect myself a bit here. And man, that Zeneca quote fucked me up so badly, man. I mean, that got me. Was the same as in Arcane, when in episode 6 they said sometimes the brightest flames burn out the fastest. The same idea of, like, I hate this idea of potential dying. Like, Raphael didn't even completely step out of the nothingness when he returned to it. He couldn't bring something from it. Holy fuck, man. I do hope you like this reaction. Also, share it perhaps, because the videos have been buried a bit because they don't get enough views. So if you like this, share it, like, subscribe, check out the novel. Obviously, if you like these themes, I do think it's written very well. And yeah, man, it's so hard that I realize in these reactions, when this stuff happens, that like, death still lingers. And it is so fucked that these exactly, like, this is like so parallel to what I've lived through. Like not what Raphael lived through, but like watching Raphael live through this was so parallel to watching my best friend die of something bad over 2 years. At least Raphael had it quick, but that was such a character moment. I think that was one of the strongest character moments I've ever seen, because normally in these shows, these things get resolved by, no, it's alright, he will somehow get saved. I hope he doesn't get saved here, because that would be one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. I'm rambling now, I'm sorry, I'm really rambling now, not stories with style rambling, I'm really rambling because I'm just fucking done in now by this show, and we've got a lot left, so thanks for watching. I hope you are well. I hope everyone around you is healthy, and I hope you have courage, and hug you all. Take care of yourself. Bye.